When you say no to disrespect and discomfort, you realize that no is the foundation of the financial pillar. You need to be financially independent, emotionally stable, mentally acute, physically ready, and spiritually believe you're good enough. Otherwise, you cannot move. You make that move and one of the pillars is missing, you're going to be up shit's creek without a paddle. So let's look at it from just this different angle, because we have different angles here. Have you ever looked at your bank account and your children's faces, as I said a while ago, and realized that comfort was actually a cage? Today, we talk about the courage to live. Think of her. She has 4 children, under 5, self-employed, income, and a heart that said, I am not meant to stay here. Think of that person. Think of that woman who knows deep down, 4 children, self-employed, but she knows in her heart, I am not meant to stay there. You see, we often wait for a perfect exit. Wait for the thorns to magically disappear. But the exit usually requires us to push through the sharpest part of the bush to get to the open field. Yes. You see, think of it. It starts with a whisper. I do not want to be here, you say. Then it becomes a plan. Then life tests that plan. When you think you can save $1.75 to get to that point, you find out you can only put $1. And then you might get weak and say, I might as well not do it. But I'm here to tell you, put the $1. Today you do not have the 75 cents, but you have $1. So put it. Next time you will have $1.50. You do that. I do not want to be here means you have to do something. Then it becomes a plan. Then life tests the plan. You see, if your hands are open enough to give, even while you're trying to grow. Why you lost 75 cents? You have $1.75 to save. And I said, you only have $1 now. But you remember that person sitting on the grate that asked you for a cup of coffee, and you gave them 75 cents. So you gave even while you're trying to grow, to get out of the trap. You see, the thing is, without an example in life, we cannot relate to circumstances. What about you stay in the briar patch and one day you get up and the patch is on fire and you're stuck there? What about that? Because the person with whom you share the patch decided the patch is no longer for them. They say goodbye and off they go. You're left holding. But all that time you knew you should have been the one to leave. But you stayed because you felt comfortable. Because you loved the disrespect. Not that you loved it, but you got accustomed to it. And when you get accustomed, you accept. But when your skin is itching because you are getting accustomed to something you really truly do not like, that's the time you have to shake it off and go. Plan. Take your time. Always take your time and do not talk your plans to anybody. It's great to say, I'm uncomfortable in this relationship. Can I stay with you? Oh, sure. How long can you stay at your friend's house with a couch? Can you imagine that woman with 4 children going to a friend's house on a couch with 4 kids running through? That will destroy the relationship. So she stayed and she saved her $1.75. She never talked about her raises at work. And when it was time, she had sufficient to pay the down payment. She said, I am out of here. I don't know how I'm going to pay that mortgage, but I'm leaving. It worked out though, because she had the faith with action. I'm good enough. I saved. So I remember a woman with the children. I always remember her. She had $20,000 saved. She looked at her life and told me, Tessa-Marie, where I am not comfortable. For my children or for me, it is not comfortable. I'm going to buy a house and I will figure it out. She said, if I was able in this thing where I made less money, but I had to pay more money than an equal amount to keep this relationship going, I thought back and I said, what can I can do a lot more if I didn't have to be with this person. Because I was making the bad choices. I was eating foods I shouldn't eat. I was gaining weight that was keeping me back. I was not taking care. I could see the difference in my skin, she said. I lost my luster. Right as she was stepping out, her mother called. Needing help. She didn't let fear close her heart. She sent her mother $1,000 to her mother and put the rest towards her future. She said, I couldn't say no to my mother. So I sent $1,000. So there were days she didn't know how the bills would be paid because she refused to stay in the thorns of her old life. She found the strength to thrive. She figured it out because she had no choice. Love of herself and her children gave her no choice. You see, we always have to understand the situations that we put ourselves into. That's why I always say to the women who are constantly telling me they want an Adonis. I want my Greek god, one woman said. And I said, you realize they were myths and they were stories told by men that were drunk with wine? But I still want Adonis. When she got Adonis, she found out Adonis was a master cheater. I never thought he was like that. And I said, but that's what you asked for. A statue. A statue that stood there and accepted everything but gave nothing back. Think about it. You want an Adonis? Adonis does not move. His physique is absolutely beautiful. He stands tall, shoulders, and yet the birds come on him. People put flowers at his feet. The rain keeps him smooth. His marble shines forever. The snow covers it, then washes it clean. Adonis does not give anything. Adonis takes and absorbs, all from nature. So if you're looking for that in a man, or you're looking for Cleopatra, who used cinnamon and cloves and all of those things, and she sat and just fanned herself, then what do you get when that's what you need? I am not cooking, my sister-in-law told my brother. I cannot stand the dough on my fingers. But when the bread was baked, she was the first one cutting and slicing butter in it. But she wouldn't knead the dough. You ask her if she wants something to eat when you're serving others. No, not yet. And just as everyone sits down to eat, I would like some now. And those of you who know me, at that moment I am deaf. I do not hear. I don't do anything. I just continue eating, and anybody who chooses to get up to serve her would do. Because that is what he wanted. She's so pretty. That does not cook food. She's so pretty. She's not cleaning floors, is she? So what it is you want? This woman refused that lady to be Bear Rabbit. She didn't want to settle in the briar patch just because she knew how to survive there. She chose the open field. Yes, the field has wind and rain. And yes, it requires the hard work of tilling the soil. But it is her land. She owned her own home. She saved and she crimped and she put together $20,000 the day before closing. Her mother needed help. She sent her $1,000. She still got into that house. And as she said, I didn't know how to pay, what I would do, what the days would be like to how to pay this money, but I had to be there. She traded the protection of the thorns for the freedom of the harvest. She could choose. If I can do all that I do, taking care of 6 people, she said, 4 children, the man, the Adonis, and herself. She said, can you imagine what I can do just taking care of 5 of us? And she said, that was my projector. That was what pushed me. That was my engine. When I realized I could do this on my own, I got out of the briar patch. The thorns in that relationship were hurting. I grabbed my 4 children and I moved into that house. And she said, honestly, I did not know how the bills were going to be paid, but I knew I was out of the briar patch. I was out of the thorns. And I am in a new life. She thrives today. She thrives today. Her children have now grown. And she is still in that house. The children are in and out because they were younger than my kids. And some of them are in university. But she called me when she sat down and she realized, wow, I did it, Tessa-Marie. I did it. I took a chance and I just kept going. It was not easy. So those of you who have a resume and you're in a job where the supervisor is on your back like white on rice and pins on a pin cushion, make a choice. Clean up your resume. Clean up yourself. Present yourself to the world and step out there. No waves. Make no waves. Do not rush. Do not retort when you're being disciplined by this person who has the right to just scratch you off with a pen. You want to leave that job? Plan properly. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Plan it. Do not just get up and leave and you have no idea where you're going. Take your time. You know the ups and downs. You know where the thorns are in that situation where you are right now. Whether it's a job, your landlord will not fix the property you're renting and roaches and rats and whatever is all over the place. Where are you going? Can you afford the bigger rent? Do you have a savings plan? How are you doing? Are you cutting back on regular